What's up, guys? How you doing out there? It's me, DJ Shig, and I have decided to do a little tutorial video about how I cut music for IMVU. I actually started doing this. I started cutting music for IMVU about a year ago. Never really bothered watching any tutorial videos. I kind of had a bit of a clear idea of how I was going to do it, and the process has kind of changed a little bit over time. But, I mean, the general idea is still the same, at least in terms of how I do it. Now, I kind of watched a few tutorial videos later on, and, I don't know, I do it a little bit differently, so I kind of wanted to show you guys how I do it, what I find works for me, what might work for you, if you decide to cut this way or whatever. But anyways, so I'm gonna start off. As you can see, this is the file that I'm using. It's Ylvis. I don't know how to pronounce his name. The song's called The Fogs. I'm sure you guys all know it. I wouldn't normally cut this song. Not my particular style, but everybody knows it, so everybody kind of knows what to expect. You might like the song, you might hate the song. I actually don't mind the song, personally. Super catchy and everything, but here we go. So I already have this loaded up all nicely in Audacity and everything, sitting here as one track. Now, another thing is, when I downloaded this, I actually downloaded it as a FLAC file, which is completely lossless. It's a very high-quality file. During the exporting part of the whole process and everything, when you're exporting your OGGs to upload to IMVU, it will reduce the quality of it and put it into a low-quality OGG. I really wish that didn't have to happen, but I kind of understand, because you have to sort of stay within the 2 megabyte limit of IMVU's products. Not the biggest fan of it, but I get it. I understand. So anyways, I like to start with a FLAC file, because it just, it gives you the best, kind of best quality base to work with. So anyways, I'm sure by now you guys already have Audacity. You've probably messed around with it a little bit. So this should all look pretty familiar to you. Now, I'm not going to get super into where to place your cuts. It's entirely up to you. I like to go with the beat, the rhythm. I'll cut to the drums. I'll cut to the bass. I'll cut to anything with that standard rhythm. It's up to you. A lot of people do cut to the lyrics and everything. I can kind of understand why. Everybody seems to know the lyrics to songs and everything, and maybe people find it easier to sort of trigger everything when they're triggering it to the lyrics as opposed to the drums. I don't find that works out very well for me personally. I like to follow the beat of a song. But anyways, here it goes. So I'm just gonna start playing. I'm gonna figure out exactly where I'm gonna put my first cut. It's probably going to be, I want to say it's probably somewhere in here. It's gotta stay below this mark here. This is our 20-second mark. But let's give this a shot. Okay, I'm gonna cut this part right out.
Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak.
Okay, so first of all, I didn't realize that this was actually going to be a thing. Maybe I should explain what I'm doing here. So when I cut music, I've seen a lot of people just kind of, they'll stop it like right there and they'll just say, okay, that's going to be a cut. I like to take it a little bit further. I like to zoom right in on it, because you see that the beat is actually over here, not over here. This isn't where the beat actually starts. So I'm just going to kind of take it. I'm going to zoom in, and I zoom in and zoom out with by holding control and using the mouse wheel. You can use these buttons up here, but I'm a big fan of keyboard shortcuts, so I just sort of like to, and you can hold this and move it over and zoom in, zoom out at the same time. So, you know, if I'm all the way back here, I can, you know, kind of take it, I can, okay, move it over here, move in, and it'll zoom into wherever you have your mouse positioned, which is kind of nice. I think I'm gonna take it from right there. And you know what? I'm not gonna chop that first little bit off. I'm just gonna listen to it, make sure it sounds good. And that's exactly where I want it. Now, this next step, I see a lot of people doing this, and they'll kind of go to export selected audio. Let's just make a new folder here. The Fox, and they'll kind of, you know, they'll throw it in here. They'll rename it. Oh, here we go. You would go to OGG Vorbis file. You'd name it Yelvis the Fox 1. And then save it that way. Now, I do things a little bit differently. I don't like to export. I actually like to export all of my cuts at once, and have everything open within the same project. So there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can go to Tracks, add new stereo track, and then, oh, I did that wrong. You would go Control C for copy, or you can go edit, copy. Tracks, you would add new stereo track, Control V, or edit, paste. Entirely up to you. I don't do it that way. Again, like I said, I'm a big fan of keyboard shortcuts. I'm just sort of undoing that. If you actually hold Control and hit D, it opens a new track and pastes it in there all perfectly and all lined up for you. So that's kind of, that would be my first cut. I'm going to go ahead and listen to a little bit more of this, you know, get a second cut going on. I like to drag it over. I know it's got to be less than 20 seconds, and I'm way over my 20-second mark here, but I'll just sort of kind of play it.
Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo, frog goes croak, and the elephant goes toot. Ducks say quack.
Okay, so I kind of lost it there. I think it's right in here. Let's try looping it here.
Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo, frog goes croak, and the elephant goes toot.
So it looks like that's exactly where I needed to be, which I'm surprised. Usually you can kind of see it a little bit more clearly, but I kind of messed up. I wasn't sure if it was there or if it was right there, but I did manage to find it on my first try. If you're having difficulties finding where your cut's going to be, you can actually loop a selection by holding Shift and either clicking play there, or just holding Shift and pressing down on the space key. The space key is basically your play, pause, stop button. There we go, play, stop. But anyways, so I got my cut. I'm going to put that into a new track there, and I'm going to start again. Now the cool thing is that when you do it this way, you can actually, if you made a mistake and say you wanted, well, you want to take it from right there, from right there. Did I get it? Yeah, I did get it. And it'll actually kind of snap and stay exactly where you need it to be. So I'm going to make a third cut here, and then I'm going to actually let you guys go, and I'm going to fast forward to the point where I have all of my cuts all loaded up, all in separate tracks down here. Okay.
Ducks they quack, and fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's one sound that no one knows. What does the fox say?
And I think it's actually going to be right there is where I'm gonna kind of take that. So you can kind of see that, I mean, even though this is here, the beat actually starts a little bit after that. I think that's the sound of his voice, but that drum, that bassy drum beat starts right there. So I'm going to go ahead. I didn't even really look at it, or I didn't listen to it, but I trust myself. I think I made the right thing. I think I made the right call. But anyways, I am going to let you go, and I will see you once I have all my cuts down here.
Dog goes woof, cat goes meow, bird goes tweet, and mouse goes squeak. Cow goes moo, frog goes croak, and the elephant goes toot. Ducks they quack, and fish go blub, and the seal goes ow, ow, ow. But there's one sound that no one knows. What does the fox say? What the fox say? What the fox say? Happy, happy, happy ho. Happy, happy, happy ho. Happy, happy, happy ho. What the fox say? What the fox say? Big blue eyes, pointy nose, chasing mice and digging holes. Tiny paws up the hill. Suddenly you're standing still. Your fur is red, so beautiful, like an angel in disguise. But if you meet a friendly host, will you communicate by more? How will you speak to that? What does the fox say? What the fox say? What the fox say? What the fox say? What does the fox say? The secret of the fox, ancient mystery, somewhere deep in the woods, I know you're hiding. What is your sound? Will we ever know? Will always be a mystery. What do you say? You're my guardian angel, hiding in the woods. What is your
Alright guys, so looks like I have all my cuts in place. You can see them all as I scroll down here, and they're all lined up all nicely, and yeah, everything worked out really well. It was just that little Control D thing, and that put everything right in its place. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute this because we don't want that. Alternatively, you can actually just close it. I like to leave it there because what I like to do is I actually like to save my project from this point here, and I'll just go in the Fox. I will save it there. Saved as an Audacity project. It is all in there. What's that? Oh, that was that thing there. So there's the AUP. That's just the reference for all the stuff in the data folder. This is all the data that Audacity needs to basically run it through the program. And there we go. Now, the one thing that I don't like seeing is having all these big tracks, so it's actually really easy to fix that. We're going to go to Collapse All Tracks. That's in View. It's under Collapse All Tracks, and that just sort of, it doesn't change anything about the tracks, it just makes them a little bit smaller. You can take them, you can, drag them out a little bit, make them bigger, make them smaller. I like to have them all nice and tiny because there's really not a whole lot that we're going to do with this. We don't have to get right in there and see these waves or anything like that. Obviously, when you're cutting off of your bass track and everything, you want it to be a little bit bigger so that you can get right in there and you can see exactly where you're gonna, that's a beat right there. This is the beginning of a beat. You can kind of see it there. But anyways, so that's kind of that part there. There's a little bit more that I like to do in post-production. This is entirely up to you. I mean, some people do it, some people don't. You can kind of highlight the tracks that you're going to be using. You wouldn't highlight this one here because, again, I'm just going to close this out so it doesn't confuse you guys. But, here's all of our cuts. And what I like to do is align my tracks. Oh, I messed up. You're going to highlight all of your cuts and you can align them together. What I like to do is I like to get right in there and I like to grab this here. I grab about 4 samples. It's about 4 dots. You can go 5, you can go 6, you can probably go 10. And it wouldn't really matter. Each one of these dots, each one of these samples is a very small amount of time. And I like to kind of fade them in so that they actually start at a 0 point. Oh, what did I do there? If you kind of sort of, okay, maybe we'll grab a different one, just so that you can see, when you zoom right in, it actually now starts at a 0 point. It's not up here, it's not down there. It actually starts at a 0 point there. It actually helps take out sometimes when you cut these things or you're looping triggers together and everything, you might hear like an audible little click. That does happen every once in a while. You see, this actually worked out pretty nice. All of my cuts seem to be roughly the same length with the exception of the first one and the last one. From here, there is, unfortunately, I haven't found a way to do it. But there is a way that you can kind of align the ends together. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the beginning of all of these cuts. I'm going to apply a fade out to the ends of these so that they end on a 0 point as well. Again, just kind of takes out a little bit of there's a little bit of a click that you can kind of hear sometimes when you're looping tracks or you're trying to paste them all together in IMVU, like one after the other. Sometimes you get a little click and I'm just, trying to eliminate as much of that click as possible. I did that with the, what do they call this? The time shift tool. I just dragged them all over. They'll all snap together. Like if I take this one away and I accidentally move it over here, you can see there's like a yellow line, and that means that all the ends of these are all snapped together. I don't usually drag the, where is it? I don't usually drag the last one because this is already on a 0, like the 0 point. That's like completely muted at the end, so you won't really have to deal with that. So yeah, I usually just sort of, I don't bring the last track into this. But anyways, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to grab 4. I don't know why it snaps. It seems like it's exactly like one sample after the last one. But whatever, the effect is still the same. We're going to go effects. We're going to go fade out this time. And there you go. And if I take this and kind of make it a little bit bigger, you can see that it all now ends at that 0 point. And if I grab another one, you can see it's the same thing. So anyways, there's that. Now the thing is that we have to export these. Again, with the way that most people cut, they'll actually kind of cut it right out of the main thing and export them one by one. From here, it's actually super easy. It kind of does it all automatically, but if you go to export multiple, we can actually, where's my desktop? We'll go to the Fox. We are going to create a new folder. We'll call it OGG. We're going to select that folder. From here, you would... I have a few extra things in here, like the MP3 files. I downloaded the encoder for that. But we are going to export them as OGG Vorbis files because that is the only thing that IMVU will accept as a sound file. I think when you open this up for the very first time, it starts on quality 5. I would like to up it to 10, but that'll greatly increase our file size. But if you drop it all the way down to 0, it will crunch it into a nice manageable OGG file. Split files based on tracks or labels. You're going to want to have tracks overwrite existing files. Doesn't really matter because we don't have any files in that folder named Ylvis the Fox. I think by default it starts off with using label and track name. I like to do the numbering after the file prefix, and I will name my prefix the same thing that I'm going to name my triggers when I do upload it. We'll just call it Fox. And what this is going to do is when it exports those OGGs, it's actually going to name those OGGs Fox 1, Fox 2, Fox 3, all the way up until 10, 12, however many OGGs that we're going to have. It just labels them like really, really nice for you. So we'll go export. Okay. And see, this is basically the settings for each export. Looks like we have 15 different OGGs that are going to do, and now the computer's just going to do its magic. Audacity is going to export them all one by one, make everything really easy. Successfully exported the following 15 files. So you see, this is the file path, and it named it Fox 1, Fox 2, Fox 3, all.ogg, which is very, very nice. Now from here, I'm not going to really save it again because I already had a nice save of this here. And this is before I did anything, so you can see the tracks are all still big. This one's here. Another cool thing is that, like I was saying, I like to leave this here, but I will mute it. As long as this track here is muted, it won't export it as an OGG. If you have it unmuted, it will export it as a large OGG, and that'll kind of mess up your numbers too, because that will become Fox 1. So when you're actually uploading them into the creator in IMVU, you're going to have to start with Fox 2, Fox 3, and you're going to have to name them Fox 1, Fox 2. It just sort of it sort of offsets the numbering system, if that makes any sense. So anyways, I just mute it, and then when I could do the same thing, export multiple. I'm not going to, but we would just call it like Fox, and it won't actually export any muted tracks that you have. Alternatively, I mean, like if you didn't want to export, say this one here, you could mute that one and it would just export all the rest of them. When it got to this one here, if this one was number 4, it would call this one here number 5, number 6, and so on. But anyways, that's kind of that, and that's sort of, here's my OGG folder, and you can see that we have all of them there. It's 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 15. I'm not gonna show you how to actually upload them into the creator, into the create mode in IMVU, because you should already know that. If not, maybe I'll make a second tutorial about how to derive your own voice box and kind of derive off of a blank voice box or whatever, and the whole uploading process of that. But anyways, I hope that kind of helped you guys out. I guess I kind of just started doing it that way. I didn't just start doing it that way. I've been sort of doing it that way ever since I started, but I don't know. I like being able to open this up and, here's all my work right there, all cut and everything. And then, that way there, if you ever have to go back and ever have to change anything, you can figure it out. Like maybe you messed up, say this one here, and you messed up the cut on that one there, and it's already been uploaded and everything. You want to go back and you want to change it. You can just reload the Audacity file, and you can kind of, you can kill that one and make a new cut and make it all nice. So anyways, I hope that helped you guys out. Leave me something in the comments. You can tell me any feedback or anything. You can tell me that my way of cutting completely sucks and you don't want to use it and you think it's a terrible way of cutting. I don't know. I happen to like it. I think it just makes everything so much easier to deal with. Rather than, going file, export selected, and you have to do it one by one. It's just a nice, easy way of exporting them all one by one. If I could upload them all at the same time, like if I could do that through the create mode and have it automatically upload Fox 1, Fox 2, Fox 3 just like that for me, that would be fantastic, but that's not really a possibility. So just sort of, this whole thing just sort of takes away the tediousness of exporting single OGG files, having to rename them one by one. I mean, the process already, it renames everything 1, 2, 3, 4 for you. Like it doesn't, I don't know. It's just a lot easier for me. So anyways, leave a comment. I don't know, like it. You can subscribe, but this is probably going to be like my only video here, so there's no point in subscribing. I'm not really looking for views. I just hope that maybe this helped 1 or 2 people out. And maybe it helped a whole bunch of people out. Who knows? We'll figure that out. But anyways, I'm out. You guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. Peace.